So, the film starts with a girl who was running in her house in fear to escape from something and was trying to hide. While the scene changes, and now we are shown Benny. Benny was looking very upset, as if he was in some big shock. In the morning, this shock of Benny was also confirmed to us, because he was talking to his friend that now he is tired of things and wants to take a break. He had planned that he would go to Crow Valley by bicycle, so that he could spend some time with himself away from the world. His friend also liked his idea. After a while, we see that Benny leaves from here with some things in his car. After going a little far, he parks his car outside a general store and takes out his bicycle from it. He goes inside the general store and buys some things. And inside the general store itself, we see the same girl whom we saw scared in the beginning of the movie. She was looking at Benny mysteriously at this time. When Benny comes out and takes out his bicycle from his parked car, the girl comes out and starts staring at him again, and Benny leaves for his journey. Benny was moving towards Crow Valley riding his bicycle very fast. On the way, he saw a waterfall and stopped to drink water. After resting here for some time, he starts his journey again, and after covering a long distance, he has to stop suddenly because one of the tires of his bicycle burst. He was still checking his bicycle when suddenly a car came speeding from behind and hit him. This was the same car that we had seen outside the general store. The girl who came out of it was the same one who was at the general store. That girl gets scared seeing Benny fainted like this. She first listens to his heartbeat with her ear, and when she confirms that Benny is alive, she puts him in her car and takes him away from here. After going a long distance, she sees a cabin which was far away from the population. It was in a deserted area. When she knocked on the door of this cabin, she was receiving no response. She looked through the window, tried to look from everywhere. When she got confirmed that there was no one inside at this time, she broke the window and went inside the house. There was a lot of dust on everything in the house. It was clear from this that the residents of this place have not come here for a long time, and it is possible that they may not come now either. Now the scene shifts to some time later. When Benny regains consciousness inside this cabin, his arm and head were badly injured, and he was having so much pain in his head that he was not able to stand. He did not even remember what happened to him last time and how he reached here. When Benny comes into senses, the girl who caused Benny's accident also comes close to him. After talking for a while, she realizes that Benny doesn't remember anything about the accident. That's why she herself doesn't speak the truth. When Benny asks her, "How did I come here?" she tells a lie that "I found you unconscious on the way, and I picked you up and brought you here to my uncle's loft." Benny now tells her that you should have called the ambulance. "Look how injured my arm is." Hearing this, that girl refuses, and she says that we are inside Crow Valley at this time, and there is no service available anywhere around Crow Valley. Benny was feeling severe pain, so Benny asked this girl to help him, although that girl was not a doctor either. But after listening Benny's instruction, she pulled Benny's hand and started wrapped the fractured, then moved on to dress his wounds. And she came to the kitchen. She was nervous. The mysterious voices were echoing in her mind, and suddenly the whole scene went into flashback, where we got to see this girl is arguing with her mom. Exhausted by her mom's words, she walks over to the window. She sees a scary entity on the other side of the window, seeing which she got even more scared. Anyway, the scenes come back to the present, and this girl starts cooking food. Meanwhile, Benny comes here, and he asks this girl's name for the first time. Then this girl tells her name, Greta. He was embarrassed by Greta because Greta was doing a lot for him, but Greta said it doesn't matter. It's all up to me. She also serves him food at this time. Now, after eating food, Benny says to Greta that I need to go to the hospital. So, Greta replies to him that the hospital is very far, and I don't even have my own car. I also took help from someone to bring you here. These people keep talking, and suddenly Greta starts remembering her past again. We are shown in flashbacks that Greta constantly feels scared, because she suffers from depression. She does not even take her depression medicines, and she always feels that someone is following her. There is a ghost behind her. The voices of this entity also kept echoing in Greta's mind all the time. Even tonight, when she was using the phone, her mother came to her in her flashback. and she scolded her because she had seen all the medicines Greta had dropped. But Greta tells a lie to her that she is taking her medicines daily. Anyway, the scenes come back to the present, and even now we see Greta overwhelmed by the same voices, which have been troubling her in the past. At this time, we were understanding these voices clearly, and they were inciting her to kill Benny. She picks up a knife from the kitchen because of these echoing voices, and she is about to kill Benny, going to his room, when she suddenly comes into her senses. She had come to her room, but those voices were still behind her. Leaving Benny, she quickly comes to her room. But now those voices had grown even louder because she refused to obey. Greta was exhausted of those voices. She quickly hides her face in the pillow and screams loudly and tries to block out the voices. But these voices were not stopping. Anyway, in the morning we see that Benny has gone out to help himself. He was hoping that either he would find a clinic nearby where he could get himself treated or he would get a ride. He got very tired of walking, but he neither found a clinic nor a ride. He had just stopped to take a breath near the tree when he saw a car in the forest far away. When he went closer and saw it, it was indeed a car. And he immediately rushed and told Greta about it. Greta also sees this car, although we know that this car belongs to Greta. But she acts as if she does not know about this car in front of Benny. She too has seen this car for the first time. But now Benny also suspected from her actions that Greta is lying to him, and this car belongs to Greta. Greta also suspected that Benny has started suspecting her. So, she immediately goes to the house. Benny also starts searching for the car keys in the house to clear his doubts. And he finds the car keys in the drawer of Greta's room. Greta, who had come to the forest at this time to control the voices in her mind, she saw Benny heading towards the car once more. She was not able to understand why Benny is going there. When she quickly came back home, she saw that her whole room was messed up, and the place where she had kept the car keys was empty, and car keys were also missing. Her anger intensified, and the voices were urging her to do something wrong. She takes out a baseball bat from the cupboard and starts following Benny. Greta had now come behind Benny. Before Benny could drive off and escape from here, Greta asks him to get away from the car. Benny does not take her threat seriously. He starts saying something to Greta, then Greta swings the baseball bag and hits him hard on the head, and she knocks him unconscious. She now dragged Benny back into the house. Spreading a sheet on the kitchen floor, she makes Benny sit on a chair and ties him well with tape. When Benny regained consciousness, he was surprised that such a young girl can do this to him. He says to Greta, "Why are you doing this? What have I done to you that you are after me? Leave me. Whatever you want in return, you can ask me for as much money as you want." At this time Greta was overwhelmed by the voices in her mind. She does not listen to Benny, and holding a hammer, she threatens him to tell your real name, or else I will break your hand. He tells her his real name, that his name is David. And on hearing the name David, the echoing voices in Greta's mind become even louder. Those voices had now driven Greta mad. Getting influenced by those voices, she suddenly hits David's hand with a hammer and injures him badly. The echoing voices in Greta's mind also stop at his loud scream, and Greta also restores her consciousness. On regaining senses, she realizes that she had done a very wrong thing. After this, Greta goes to David and shows him a picture in which Greta's sister was also with her. And now David remembered that Greta was the sister of the same girl, whom David had killed in an accident 8 years ago. David also becomes terrified seeing the truth in front of him. David now started making excuses. He says that it was not my fault in that accident. It was your sister who came in front of me, and as soon as I got down to help her, she had died. Then Greta says, everything about it is a lie. When you saw her, she was alive. She was calling you for help, and you did not help her out of fear. And you left her there to die alone. Here David tries to convince her that, believe me, I had checked her. She was dying. Then Greta tells him that you were drunk that day. You did not remember anything. Suddenly the same voices start echoing in Greta's mind again, which were provoking her to kill David. Those voices were shouting and blaming David for every problem coming in her life. And now she was going to break his head with a hammer. Before she kills David, She hears the sound of a truck from outside which was moving towards their house. Actually, he was the owner of this house. When she goes out to meet him, when that man asks her, "Who are you?" she says with an innocent look, "I was passing by here. I had an accident, so I had to take shelter here unwillingly." Now to stop this man from going inside, she asks him, "Will you give me a lift for a short distance?" That man does not answer Greta, and seeing the blood on her clothes, he knows that something suspicious is definitely happening inside. So, he pushes Greta aside and quickly goes inside the house. Before he goes towards the kitchen and sees David, she picks up the baseball bat lying down and swings it once again and knocks this old man unconscious. This time the blood was flowing a lot. She had hit him very hard. Seeing so much blood, when she came into her senses, she realized once again that she had done something very wrong. She also tried to stop the bleeding from his head, but now it was in vain. Greta had harmed his brain, and he died due to bleeding. Greta is now emotionally crushed. She leaves this man here and goes to a room and starts crying looking at her sister's picture. Here David, who was tied up in the kitchen for a long time, he also got a chance to escape from here because Greta was not around. He sees a knife lying on the floor in the kitchen. He throws himself on the floor to pick it up, and he tries to free his hands with the knife. After a long effort, as soon as he frees one of his hands, he immediately frees his mouth, the other hand and his legs, and quickly takes the car keys lying on the counter. He tries to escape from here. He wanted to start the car immediately and run away from here. But perhaps his luck was bad because the engine of the car was not working now. Meanwhile, Greta also heard some sounds. She witnessed, going there, that David is not there. So, she immediately came towards the car to catch David because she knew that David would drive off. When David also hears the sound of running in the forest, he quickly gets out of the car and hides. Here Greta was desperately searching for David to kill him. But David was hiding under the trunk of a tree at this time. Greta also passed by him, but she did not even suspect. Here, in a great shock, David remembers all that he had done a few years ago. Once when he was passing through this Crow Valley in an intoxicated state, he had caused an accident to Greta's sister, who was riding a bicycle. He had also come out to help her, but he saw that Greta's sister had fainted. Her nerves were working. She was alive, but David did not have the courage to help this girl. To avoid the police, he sat in his car again and ran away from here. Even today, he was very ashamed of that accident. He was sorry for what he had done. But right now, he did not want to lose his life because of all these things. When he realizes that Greta has gone away from there, he came out from under the tree. David remembered that the owner of the house had arrived here in a truck. He plans to run away from here with his truck. And as he reaches home and tries to find the keys, Greta suddenly came in front of David with the keys of the same owner's truck hanging on a knife. But he decided that he would dare and take the keys of the car. But as he stood up, Greta immediately tries to attack him with a knife while throwing the keys on the side. Greta and David both fall down. Greta was completely trying to kill David. David was trying to save himself. And in this process of saving himself, David gains full control over Greta. He wanted to take the knife from her hand, but Greta was forcefully moving the knife towards his stomach. In this scuffle, that knife gets stuck in Greta's stomach and Greta herself dies. David quickly picks up the truck keys from here and immediately runs towards the truck. He was about to leave from here with the truck, but immediately he realized that Greta might still be alive. He did not want to repeat the previous mistake. Similarly, he did not want to let any innocent person die now. That is why he came back to help Greta. As soon as he came back home, he checked her pulse. Greta was still alive. He dragged Greta to the car while laying her on a cloth. David wanted to take her to the hospital as soon as possible. The journey was half over. Then Greta regained consciousness. Greta pulled out the knife from her stomach, coming into the consciousness, and blood started gushing out. To stop the bleeding, David stopped the car and helped Greta to control the bleeding. But now it was of no use. Due to excessive bleeding, Greta had also died here. At the end of the story, it is revealed that Greta failed to avenge her sister. The voices that echoed in her ears, the entity that she saw was that of her sister. And the same ghost was forcing her to kill David. And as Greta dies, this ghost appears before David, who is shattered. The movie ends here showing just this.